Okay, I want to make this video as natural as possible and as short as possible, knowing that I have so many things. But if you feel stuck in life, if you feel like there's a better version of yourself somewhere and you cannot reach it, first I want to say that I feel you. I've been there and I know how hard and how mentally draining that feels. So if you feel that, if you feel you're stuck, just let me give you 5 things that has helped me tremendously. And thanks to these things, I am where I am right now. And I would have wanted to know for sure this probably 1, 2 years in advance. So the first thing is how I see life. I'm a designer, I'm a very creative person, and I need to see things very visually. This is what I call the life graph. A graph has an x-axis and a y-axis. So the x-axis is for me the lifespan. So from the moment you were born until now, meaning that this life graph is expanding every day, and we hope it still keeps expanding for a long time. Then on the y-axis, we have your growth. How much are you growing as a person? In my opinion, either we're growing or we're stable. I don't want to think about on growth. But the thing about this graph is that you need to analyze what's happening right now, what's happened in the last week, the last month, in the last 6 months. What has happened from the moment you were born until now? Can you identify the growth moments? Did you have a very spiky growth period in a very short time? What was that? Are you in the recent days, do you have a very stable line? Because if that's happening, I'm sorry to say that, but that's not the situation that you probably want to do. And that then you need to do changes. You need to put things on your plan to make sure that you're growing again. So in my opinion, there's 2 types of growth. Very spiky growth in a very short period of time. That can be things as going on a solo trip, quitting your job, going through a breakup, moving somewhere else. In my case, I know that for 2025, although I've had very spiky things, the growth that has spiked the most and is making me grow the most, and it has the biggest impact, is moving to Bali. I'm sure about that. We're in July 2025. I know that until December, moving to Bali is a decision this year that make the more growth. And you see, it's not something that I can do every day, every week, every month. I'm not gonna move next month somewhere else just because I wanna grow more. I first wanna settle here. So just for you to know, this very high growth moments in a very short period are amazing, but you cannot do them so often because they're mentally draining. But you need to do them, you need to plan them, you need to make sure that you have a few, 5, 10, whatever, during the year. Because if you don't have any, your growth is going to be very pretty stuck. And on the opposite side, maybe not on the opposite side, but on the other side of the spectrum, you have very small growth, but that's leveraging every day. So that can be reading books, going out on a solo date, meeting new people. So small things that you can do every day that are gonna make sure that you're working and growing every day. If you feel that you're stuck, start doing those small things and you will see tremendous change. So that's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to grab a piece of paper, draw your life graph, draw your life from the moment you were born until now. What have been those big growth moments? Try to replicate them, and also identify what small things are you doing until now every day that are making you grow, and plan them. Starting implementing to your life tasks, habits that will make sure that you are growing every day. And if you feel like your line is pretty stable, really put those things on your life graph to make sure that you're growing. The second thing I want to talk about is a question. It's a very deep question. I don't want to sound cliche, but it's a very important question that when I answered it, it gave me many answers. And that's, what is your life purpose? Why are you here for? You see, when you write this down and when you come up with your life purposes, 2 things are going to happen. First, that you will know what to do to be aligned with that life purpose. And then the opposite will happen. You will know what not to do. And those things combined are magic. Meaning that when you know what to do, in my case, it took me around a month to write my life purposes, and I wrote 4 things. And one of the things was create. And that's the first thing for me, create. As I said, I'm a designer, I'm a very creative person, and creating things are absolutely like my life purpose. From painting, drawing, coming up with stories, building businesses, products, furniture, whatever. Creating things makes me happy. And I know that whenever I'm creating, I'm more aligned with myself. So I know that I need to create things to make sure I'm happy and I'm fulfilling myself. But on the other side, I know that if I'm not doing that, or if I'm in situations that are not aligned with my life purpose, it's not what I want, and I know I can filter them and I can focus on things that I want. So I really encourage you to think about your life purpose. You don't need to write a list of 20. Be very precise. I don't know, maybe maximum 5. Write a title and then a short explanation for it. Visualize it, commit to it, and stop doing things that are not aligned with your life purpose. The third tip is very much aligned with your life purpose, and it's your environment. You see, once you know your life purpose and you know where you want to be and where you don't want to be, you need to focus on your environment. And your environment, there's this saying that it's the average of the 5 people you're around with. That's very much true in my opinion, but I think we can make it even bigger. I think your environment is dictated by who you're with, who you are around with, but who also, where are you obligated to be, or who are you obligated to be around? So like your job, your colleagues, your manager, like what city are you in, what sports are you playing? Everything is adding up and creating an environment. If that environment, in your opinion, is not aligned with your goals, you should change it. You not need to change it dramatically from night to day, but you need to create small changes that will shift to an environment that you want. In my case, I did a very big change and I moved to Bali, mainly because of the environment, because the people here are absolutely amazing. Everyone is super sporty, super healthy, everyone is super entrepreneurial. I can go into whatever cafe I want in my gym, talk to someone, and the mentality of the people that they have here is exactly my mentality. And it's amazing. I've never experienced this in my life, being so close to so many people that think exactly as I am. Before here, I was living in Germany and I didn't have access to these people. So that's why I moved to Bali. You don't need to move to Bali, although I encourage you to do. But just be aware that your environment is gonna dictate who you are and how you're growing. So really shift your environment. Are you spending time with friends that are not aligned with you anymore? Then stop spending so much time with them, because even if they're friends from 20 years ago or more, if you're just getting drunk with them and talking about girls and football, maybe that's not what you want. I mean, that's definitely not what I want. I don't drink alcohol, I don't take drugs or anything. And if I would now be in an environment or with friends that do that, I would be like, hey, sorry, bro, that's not what I want. We can hang out for like 5 minutes, check whatever. If you need me, I will be there, but I'm not gonna spend time on you, or at least I'm not gonna spend time every week on you. If you're willing to spend time with me, then please change. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy to make these decisions, but you need to make them. So really focus on your environment, spend time with people that you want. Stop giving time and giving energy to people that don't deserve it, because you're just losing time. And that's the most valuable thing you have. So really protect your time, protect your environment, and that will have an immense shift and growth in your life. The fourth is another question, and it's also very deep. Maybe it doesn't apply to anyone, but even if it doesn't apply to you, please try to make the exercise. Because this question I ask it pretty often, and it makes me push myself much more, makes me go into situations that maybe I don't want to be, but I know that it will make me grow. And the question is, what stories do I want to tell my kids? So in my case, I want to have a family, I want to marry, I want to have kids, and thinking about what stories I will be able to tell my kids in 10 years, or I don't know, 5 years, whatever, it really encourages me to do more, to experience more, to live more, because I know that the values that I'm gaining today are the values that I will raise my kids with. In my case, until now, I can tell them that I was born in Barcelona, born and raised in Barcelona. I moved to Germany when I was 22. I worked for almost 3 years in a corporate company. And at 25, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna move to Bali, I'm gonna build my personal brand and my own business. Until now, I've met amazing people, I've traveled, I don't know, X amount of countries, and I can tell them everything I've experienced, everything I've learned, everything that I've failed, so they can learn from my mistakes. And I'm really encouraging myself to do more things so I can tell them more stories, so I can make them more proud. And ultimately, I can learn from them, and I can make sure that I will also encourage them to go out there, to meet new people, to explore the world that is so big and so full of opportunities. So really, whenever you're in that situation that you're in a path and you need to make a decision, think about that. What would you want to tell your kids? And there's gonna be a voice that's gonna tell you, you need to do that. And even if it sounds hard, do it, because that's the correct one. It may sound like a simple question, stupid, but I'm telling you, if you take it seriously, this question leads to incredible answers, incredible experiences, and incredible situations that will drive so much growth to yourself. This year I got into triathlons and training for triathlons because I like it, because it really aligns with my purpose, and it's an incredible, tough but rewarding sport. But I also do it because in 10, 15, 20 years, I want to run a triathlon with my kids. I want to make my kids proud. I want to be a cool dad. I want to run an Ironman soon. I don't know, maybe next year, whatever. I'm training for an Ironman, and I do it for myself, but also for my kids. I want to make my kids proud. I want to make my kids say, "Hey, my dad is a fucking Ironman." So do things thinking about your kids, your family, and the stories and the values that you will be able to raise them. So that was number 4, and we have only one left, which will sound stupid, but I'm telling you, if you don't think about this one and you don't take this one seriously, everything that I just said is essentially for nothing. This 5th one is about how your brain is thinking right now, and the 5th one is to take a step back and forget about how obvious everything I just said sounded like. Because if you treat everything I just said as something that you already knew, which is probably true, we're not speaking about rocket science. Your brain is gonna be like, hey, I already knew this. It's not something new. So since I already knew it, I'm not gonna change because I already knew it. If I would have wanted to do it before, I would have done it. Because your brain loves comfort, and it's not something I'm saying. It's science. Your brain seeks for comfort. Your brain doesn't like getting challenged, so it's always gonna shift and it's always gonna make you believe that it should be around comfort. That's why if you're running a marathon or whatever, one of the most difficult parts is speaking to your brain, because your brain will tell you, quit, stop running, you're done, you cannot achieve this. But if you start training your brain to stop doing that and really push, you will unlock yourself, you will go towards your goals. So stop overthinking, stop thinking that this is obvious, and treat things as new. Stop giving all the willpower to your brain and start thinking about with your heart. Make plans that align with your purpose. And even if it takes courage, because it's not easy, it's scary. When the moment I decided I want to move to Bali, and the moment in my previous company we had a coach, and she was the one that really pushed me to make this decision. The moment that she was like, "Hey Edu, fuck it, you need to leave Bali, you need to leave this company, and you need to move to Bali like now." The moment she said that, I was like, "Fuck, wait, like I need to build a plan. It's not easy." And I've been there. I've been there, like when someone puts you on the cliff and you need to jump. But if you don't jump, nothing magic is gonna happen. So put yourself there. It's fucking scary, and it's incredibly rewarding. There's this saying, I got it, I think, from Alex or Mosey. It's like, fear is an ocean big and an inch deep, something like that. And it's so true. Like, you see it from outside, and it's like you're so scared, but when you just jump, you see it's not that difficult. It's you can. It seems super difficult from outside, but when you get it, it's not something that's super difficult to do. So put yourself there, take time, think about everything, write it down, write your life graph, think about your future, your next week, your next month, your next 6 months, plan things, write your life purpose, think about what stories you want to tell your kids. And with all these things, I'm telling you that you will create a path towards your future self that you want to achieve. You will make sure that you're not stable. You will stop feeling stuck. And patience also. It's not that easy. Things change, don't happen from day to night. So take time, but be aware of the situation that you are now and where you want to be. So yeah, until then, I will be waiting for your change, and you can expect more videos from myself. I will try to help and inspire as many people as I can, so you're not stuck and you are pushing towards your goal and towards the person you want to be. So yeah, until then, we'll see each other very soon.